What is up, guys? Zane from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to show you guys a play that is a nightmare against zone drops. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zane Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level of Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg, $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. And our first Vault update of March was just launched this morning. So definitely go over there. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into today's video. We're going to be talking about a play that is a nightmare against zone drops. As you guys know, 30 is the deepest that you can set a purple zone or a blue zone. Obviously, we have covered at this point in the year that purple zones tend to hang out in the curl area of the field, while the blue zones typically get a little bit closer to the sideline. So we're actually going to head into the gun tight flex, which is a formation that not a lot of players are running this year, but is historically a great formation for beating zone coverage. This year, obviously, with man coverage being a little bit more of the meta, it took a little bit longer for people to go to this formation when the receivers started to hit that, point where you could power them up to 99 speed, or they were 99 speed stock. Today, we're going to focus on flooding zone with this play PA post shot. Now, very similar to the way that the bunch tight end works, you'll notice that we've got a deep skinny post and an intermediate crossing route, which is really not that intermediate if you think about it. And these two routes right here work in tandem against any zone coverage shell. It doesn't matter if it's cover 2, cover 3, or cover 4. What ends up happening is as this skinny post works across to the wide side of the field, it will pull back any and all deep zones that are hanging out on that side of the field. Now, this is actually considered a match coverage, this 3-3-5 wide cover 4 drop show 2, but I'm going to go ahead and protect the sticks here to kind of show you what this looks like even with zone drop. So as we kind of roll out on this play, pay attention to how Sneed becomes more open as Brown crosses the field on this. So in particular, we're going to be watching these two players, Edmonds and Hayden, and how they drop on their side of the field with this cover 4. So this is kind of the gist with this play. As we run this and roll out and roll out and roll out and roll out, you see how the deep quarter, and I held onto the ball to show that there, you see how the deep quarter on the outside right has to respect the verticality of the skinny post. So as we're watching Joe Hayden here on this play, notice that he drops back off the ball. He looks like he might be in a decent enough spot to kind of break down on this throw to Sneed if we were to throw it right here. But notice how when Hollywood Brown gets back behind, he has to pull off and run back to the depth of Hollywood Brown, which really opens up this throw on the sideline. Now, I held onto the ball intentionally there because I kind of wanted to show, just in general, how that particular zone will drop. But you're going to have a throwing window a little bit sooner than that. So what I've done here is I've set my zone drops to 30. Now, naturally, we're not going to get TJ Watt getting back to 30 yards on the sideline very well here. So I'm going to flip this just so that way I can have a nickel corner that does it instead. And I'm going to spy TJ Watt just that way I don't get, any crazy sacks or anything while trying to show the flood of this. So in particular, if you wanted to, you could actually hold on to the ball here with, these players. You could probably go, a little sideline flood, maybe something like that. You could still run the intermediate stock routes with the levels of crossers here with Bryant and Andrews. That's up to you as well. But in particular, as we run this play, you'll notice that later on in the progression, how that outside quarter just pulls back, and that allows me to throw that ball underneath to Willie Sneed. So you don't necessarily have to have any pull routes on the wide side of the field for this to work to clear a 30-yard blue zone. Again, I'll kind of show that to you again here as we look at the instant replay. We've got this player set to a depth of 30 yards, which is the max depth that you can drop to. So you see right here that he stops around the 40, and there's a good clearance of about roughly 12 yards over the top of him to the outside. Now, if you want to make sure that there's even more room for that route to get open, you can actually streak B receiver, in which case you probably would just go ahead and have some sort of like slant and in route combo on the backside. And then you would just motion this guy out a couple steps to drive off that coverage. And this is going to allow you to kind of roll out, and then throw this ball out underneath of those zones. So you can use the skinny post on the backside to pull those guys, or you could use a front side streak just to pull those guys off that route. Let me go ahead and show that to you again. So again, we're calling cover 4. We've got a 30-yard blue right here. And, you know, you could go ahead and have whatever route combo you want underneath, but you would just be using Bryant to kind of run off that outside quarter right here in this regard. So we're going to go ahead and roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out. And you see how that ball gets put on the sideline is such a good spot right there. Obviously, the ability to kind of roll the pocket with your quarterback is key on this. This is a long throw. Being able to roll out to the side that you're throwing to is nice. Throw on the run would be preferred. Obviously, it's a little bit more of a challenge with a guy like Tom Brady or Rich Gannon and Mutt. But, you know, with a mobile quarterback, this is a relatively easy throw. So that is cover 4. Let's go ahead and work down to a little bit of the easier coverages. Start with a cover 3. Again, I'm going to flip the nickel corner over to the side that I'm trying to flood. And again, you're going to see here that with little to no effort, this Y route just clears those 30-yard zone depths. Again, you can just see just how easy that throw is over there. So there's really no zone coverage in the game that is going to be equipped to deal with this. Let's go ahead and roll Tampa 2 here. I'm not going to flip the nickel corner this time since the outside corner is responsible. And again, you're going to see that he's going to clear over the top of the outside DB as well. So he's just going to stop, and then he's going to run back to the inside. And obviously, you can see here just how easily that ball can be fit. Now, I would say that the best way to kind of squeeze this route would probably be a cover 3 cloud. If you were going to call a stock zone coverage and try to counter this, it would be a cover 3 cloud with a 30-yard blue zone. Now, again, there's still going to be the opportunity to throw this ball. You know, I don't want you guys to think that that's the best coverage, but that's your best starting point. And the reason that I say that is that, you know, in this spot, you've got an outside third over the top of a 30-yard blue. Now, naturally, I've got everything in the world that I could run. You know, I could run a whip route. You know, I could go, you know, I could even go with a streak to B if I wanted to, and then something attacking the flat. I could attack the flat with the running back underneath, you know, wheel screens, things like that. But in general, this would be, in terms of defending this stock, probably the best coverage shell to work off of. And then even then, you can't really just run this play stock. It's still going to get into a spot. You see right here, like I can still fit this ball over the top, but at least the outside third at that safety that didn't make the play there is a little bit closer than a deep half. So again, if I show you the instant replay, you can kind of see here that in cover 3 cloud, this guy still gets affected by that post, just like in regular cover 3 where he has to drop back underneath of it. But when this ball comes out, you know, by the time he gets there, it's about 3 yards, 2 yards of difference to make a pass break up there. So as opposed to in just a traditional Tampa 2 coverage, you're going to see right here that, you know, it's a lot easier of a throw for us against Tampa 2. You basically see here, it's just like so much more room, and you can actually lead it up to pick up even more yards as opposed to just throwing the ball straight to the sideline. So, you know, this is obviously a very, very challenging play to defend. So what players are going to have to do is play kind of hybrid style coverages. Obviously, match coverage is going to struggle against this as well. If I were to play straight up quarters, you know, this is a situation where, you know, it's a tough ask. It is a very, very tough ask to ask quarters coverage to play match, because you're going to end up with guys, you know, having to chase guys to the opposite side of the field. B's open, Y's open, X is open. Like you can see that all those routes get open when you start to play match coverage. But you can also go to that that quote unquote deuce close defense. Shout outs to my guy Deuce Close out there with the awesome tips. You know, this style of hybrid coverage. Can't really go to this either because it's such a simple adjustment for me to be able to go streak, fade, and you know, at this point, this is a one-play score here because, you know, if they want to play the match quarters, I'm just going to know let that B route roll and throw this ball over the top. So you can't call any of the hybrid match variants against this play either because it's a simple motion out fade to basically blow that up. So what you're going to get is people that are sitting in zone coverage really kind of struggling to defend this. And, you know, naturally, this is also a formation that can do some real damage against man as well if you know what you're doing. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for today's video, guys. That is the tip. This play, you guys can find the PA post shot in the gun tight flex. This is found in the Bengals and the Rams playbooks. And I want to say also not also the run and gun. It's just the Bengals and Rams. So if you guys want to run that play, check out those two playbooks. They're actually really sneaky under the radar playbooks. If you guys enjoyed this tip, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel as we upload 5 times a week minimum. Also, make sure you guys check out Gridiron Game Plans. As I mentioned, $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. That's every piece of content I have done since August when the game drops, all for the one low price. You don't have to pay for individual game plans, individual tips like my competitors. Just go unlock the entire website and take your game to the next level. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints below. We'll see you guys with our next one. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.